Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an Excelsior. It's a British Tier 5 premium heavy tank. It's located on the northeast spawn of Live Oaks and it's under the command of ProvoBob. Now I'm afraid this is a reduced numbers game because it's on the Australian-New Zealand server and they don't have enough players sometimes of the day to actually get any games in, so everyone you see with a colon in front of and behind their name is a bot. Game on. What can I tell you about the Excelsior? Well, fair bit. The British were not too happy with what happened to the Churchill tank at Dieppe, and as a result they decided that they needed to investigate building another heavy tank. And so they took a couple of Cromwells and redesigned them, rebuilt them, put the suspension system from an M6, a 75mm gun, heavy armour at the front of the vehicle, and well, fairly weak armour at the sides, and they came up with the Excelsior. Now this tank is fairly strong from the front and from the rear, but the armour at the sides is very weak, I'm afraid. Only 30mm, so you don't want to expose your sides to the enemy. You don't even really want to angle if you can help it, because if you angle you can be overmatched by a 90mm gun. That said, the 75mm does fire fairly quickly, but it's got poor gun handling, 110 alpha, 91mm of penetration with standard ammo, and that goes up to 144mm with the premium. The thing is that it will go through most enemy tanks at this tier, so it's actually quite good on its DPM, up to 1800 DPM, and good pen on the enemy, with a fairly good fire rate as well. As you can see here, 3.12 is what ProvoBob's got, but 3.64 is the normal without anything extra. So if you put a rammer and a gun laying drive on this thing, you can actually increase its accuracy to compensate for the poor gun handling. Now, as I say, armour at the front is pretty good. It's up to 115mm. Same is true on the turret at the front and the rear, but at the sides it's fairly weak. Not terribly weak, not great. 92mm. Now they built the two examples, and one of them is still at Bovington. They sent it to the Tank Museum afterwards. It was rejected. They decided after all that it would probably be better to spend all the money that they were expending on development into making the Churchill even better, because they thought the Churchill was pretty good. And effectively, yes, the Churchill is pretty good because it's got much better armour at the sides. This thing actually is fairly disappointing when it comes to gun depression over the front. It's only 8 degrees, but at the sides it can actually get gun depression up to 13 degrees, would you believe it? Trouble is, if you go side on to the target, you're going to get penetrated very easily. And there goes that M5A1 Stuart. Well, that's the first casualty for ProvoBob. That was a bot, by the way, that player. Okay, the M5 Stuart he sees to his right now. He's actually on his own team. Just got fairly badly mauled. And I think that guy is a bot as well. Yes, he is. Well, one of them is. Now he's trying to pick the right target to attack. That Panzer III Ausführung J is a bot, but there's another enemy tank, a Stug 3G nearby. I don't think that one's a bot. No, that's a real player. Hey, what's up on the hill? That's a real player as well, the Hetzer. Yeah, you've got to pick the right tank to attack, because sometimes you might attack the wrong one. It's a good player and he knows what he's doing. It could be deadly. That's a bot there, the M5. Okay, the Panzer 3J. That is definitely a bot, no doubt about that. There are a few good enemy players, and at this moment, yeah, he's exposing his side to the enemy, and the Churchill one managed to get around him, but only 31 hit points lost, so it's not a big deal at the moment. But that's Stug 3G, and that's a real player, and he's running for our cap. And there's only an M8A1 at the cap area, and I'm afraid that M8A1 is a bot. Okay, he's firing on the move, which of course he's not going to get very accurate shots. and he's auto-aimed onto the target. He's just been hit by a Hetzer on the enemy team, which is a live player, and a good one at that. Mind you, he only lost 81 hit points, which suggests that that Hetzer's got the 75mm gun, not the derp gun. If it was the derp, he probably would have lost about 400 hit points. Okay, still firing on the move, which isn't going to be helpful. Stop and shoot, because you'll be much more accurate and you'll be able to take that guy down with 2 shots. Oh, he got 1 shot in. Did he get the kill shot in? Yes, he does. But he did take a round from the Stug, and I'm afraid he's lost another 131 hit points. Now, the Excelsior actually does behave in many ways like a medium tank, because its forward speed is 38 km an hour, 12 in reverse, and it turns as well pretty fast as well. Traverse is pretty good, 33 degrees per second. So you can see that it's actually quite a decent heavy tank in terms of the fact that it's got medium tank characteristics, but I think you can put that down to the fact that it was based on the Cromwell, which is also a fairly decent medium tank. So they only built 2. One's at Bovington, the other one, well, probably used as a range target somewhere and is now gone. I think the Excelsior at Bovington is in the Vehicle Conservation Centre. I don't think it's in one of the main halls. Okay, it's only 1 or 2 heavy tanks that have gone into the town. The DW2 is staying outside the town. But ProvoBob's determined to get at these guys. I think he ought to use the buildings for cover, because there are some enemy players who do know what they're doing. Oh, Churchill just fired at him and managed to bounce it. Okay, there's one of the players who does know what he's doing, the Hetzer. He's not facing the right way though. But he suddenly realised, I've got a tank behind me which is going to kill me. And he's out the game. Yeah, he made a big mistake. That was a real player as well, would you believe it? He suddenly saw the Churchill behind him. That's a real player as well. Churchill's side on to an Excelsior. Yeah, I think he's going to be taken down because, as I said, the Excelsior's got a very good DPM. There's the enemy B1, who's, I think, is a bot. Yes, he is a bot. Yeah, any bot that's in a B1 who's driving sideways to an Excelsior is asking to get wiped out, but he just obviously doesn't know to angle that B1, and therefore he is going to be taken down, because these shells will just carve straight through the side of a B1. He hit the tracks there. He was unlucky with that one, but he should be able to take the guy out with another couple of shots on target. Is the Churchill still there? No, but there's looks in the distance. I think you could probably just drive up now and kill that B1, but oh, well, he's still driving side onto us. And there it goes. Panzer 3J's gone. That's the live player that's gone out of the game. The enemy has only got 3 tanks left. 2 of them are bots. The Type 95, the looks are bots. The Churchill one is a real player. ProvoBob's got 4 kills so far, so he might be able to get a top gun if he can go after those guys and kill them. The Churchill's the nearest, but oh no, it's not. The looks is, and that's a bot. Remember, just ram him, ram him. You got the speed, and oh, there you go, got him anyway. So that's 1. Just needs 1 more kill, and it looks like most of the team are now congregating around that Churchill, who's a fair distance away. Gets 1 shot in. Can you get another one in? What's happened? Oh, they've capped out at the other end, the idiots. When there's 2 tanks left, and they could have easily taken them down. Unfortunately, they've capped out to win. I didn't see that happening, but there you go. That's what happens sometimes when you get inexperienced players on your own team who are more interested in getting the win than they are in completing all the kills and thereby getting more XP from killing all the enemy team. So let's have a look at the end of battle results. And in the results we can see that ProvoBob managed to get an ace tanker in his Excelsior in that game. Yes, he's had one before. This is not the first time he's had an ace tanker, but he also got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 5. You're 1 short of getting that top gun and only a couple of shots from getting there. a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a 5 for effect for doing more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, and he also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 10 in total, but best of all, he actually managed to get a battle hero medal. He got the high caliber for dealing the most damage overall in the game, and his win rate from the battle was 9,640, which is Super Unicum standard and a bit more. Let's have a look at the team scores. Well, we can see on the team score that he definitely got the highest damage in the game, 2,242 hit points. The second highest scorer being the OI Experimental, who got 1,590. And after that, it was the Hetzer on the enemy team, 1,407. Wow, that Churchill that he was firing at towards the end of the game, he had 1,216 hit points, so he wasn't a bad player. But unfortunately, the ProvoBob just didn't get a chance to get the kill on him. Couple of shots away, as I said. When it came to kills, ProvoBob had the highest number of those with 5 kills, 3 kills to the 267, 2 kills to the RAM 2 who managed to get an Invader medal, he's one of the ones in the gap, and 2 kills also to the enemy Hetzer. And when it came to base XP, yeah, ProvoBob's got that one as well, so top in all 3 columns, 1,269 base experience points, he's the only one to get over 1,000, the RAM 2 got 722, the T67 656, they would have had a much higher base XP at the end of that game if only they'd let ProvoBob do his job and kill those last remaining tanks. He fired 40 rounds of 75mm ammunition, only got 26 direct hits and 23 penetrations, so accuracy wasn't quite on in that game, but there again he was knocking down buildings with some of his shots as well, rather than actually shooting at the enemy. 2,242 hit points, all of it at close range. He received 7 hits from the enemy, 4 of which penetrated. Those are the shots that went in through his side, and he was very lucky that he got a non-penetrating shot from one of the enemy tanks that actually bounced off, and that was, I think, at the wrong angle to actually penetrate. He blocked damage of 135 hit points from that shot, but he did receive 3 hits by way of splash damage as well from HE. 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 6 enemy vehicles damaged, 5 killed and 129 hit points of damage assistance. He earned 61,128 credits from the game, got 50,000 credits for completing the first win of the day, and that brought up a total of 111,128 credits, but he did fire an awful lot of premium ammo during that game because of the extra penetration. As you can see here, he actually only ended up with 10,717 credits. And if he hadn't earned that first win of the day, he would have made a loss of about 39,000 credits overall. So yeah, try learning the AP. It works much better sometimes, and you can still penetrate the enemy. 1,903 XP times 2 for the first victory, 762 for this being a premium vehicle, and 4,569 experience points altogether. So this vehicle does generate XP for your crews. In fact, it's only one of 2 premium British heavies in the game. So the other one being the Carnarvon Action 10 at tier 8. If you actually do get one of these, it's fairly cheap. You can use it as a good crew trainer, and you'll quickly get crews up that you can use in some of the other British heavy tanks along the way. So I do recommend getting an Excelsior. They're not that expensive, and they are a bit of fun. Especially if you do have a fairly good crew after a while, and you can build up that good crew, and then it's just a blast really, going around taking out all the enemy. You might say it's a bit of a puppy kicker, you might a seal clubber, but yeah, it's a crew trainer. That's what it's there for. So I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.